Hi there, welcome. My name is Rick Paddock, and this video is called Lessons of the Mind, Creating Students of Change. I'd like to welcome you to this video and to the 2018 Virtual Hypnosis Convention, and to congratulate you on taking the steps to learning about change. And after all, that's what our clients come to us for. They need help making a change in a habit, a thought, a feeling, a behavior, an action, a reaction. And that's what we do so well as hypnotists and hypnotherapists. But we can do more than that. We can do more than help them change that initial presenting issue problem, help them overcome or get better at something. That when we incorporate education in our sessions, when we teach them how our mind, how their mind, all of our minds work, and how change happens, how we learn behaviors and patterns, and how we can learn new and better ones, we are not only creating change in our clients, but we're creating students of change. And when we create students of change, we're giving them the opportunity to live a better life in every aspect of their life beyond the time that we're together. So in this video lesson, we're going to cover a few things. We're going to talk about why incorporate education, why incorporate this approach, this perspective of creating students of change. And perhaps why not, which clients maybe we shouldn't use it with. We'll also talk a little bit about the how. How do we give those lessons of the mind? How do we teach about the process of change, both in the pre-talk, perhaps in the session itself, and in the post-talk? And then lastly, I'll review just some things about that you can incorporate in your office design and layout. Resources, accessories, perhaps some things that you can incorporate for homework or home fun for your clients to help them continue the change that was initiated in your sessions. So let's start there. The why. Why incorporate this approach? After all, doesn't educating the client take a little bit of the magic away about how this happens? For undoubtedly, as a hypnotist, a hypnotherapist, a coach, as somebody in this change work field, you've either witnessed or experienced firsthand the magic, the wow, the power of hypnosis. Whether you've used it and experienced it to make changes in your own life, whether you've been on stage in a hypnosis stage show or have been an attendee and have witnessed it, you've seen the awesome power of hypnosis to make changes in our mind, whether it's in our behavior on stage or in habits. And so wouldn't educating our clients about how this process works take a little bit of that magic, a little bit of that wow away? Well, it's my perspective that when our clients see that wow, the magic, the miraculous changes, the miraculous responses perhaps, that it's easy to forget where all of this happens, where this all occurs, and that's of course in our mind, in the student, client, attendee, performer on stage. It's in their mind. And it's easy for our clients to get confused about hypnosis and where that change occurs. It's easy for them to think that we as hypnotists, hypnotherapists, are the ones with the magic, the ones that have created that change, that have created that phenomenon, whether on stage or in session. And so by educating our clients about the way our minds work, about the process of change, we're putting the power, the magic where it should be, back into them. So why am I suggesting that we take away that magic, that we explain everything beforehand, and just let it all be about education, about the way our mind works, about the way change happens, about how we learn behaviors, and about how we can learn new ones? Well, I say, why not do both? Let's give them the wow, let's give them the magic, and explain what happened. Explain that it was their mind doing what our minds do. Explaining how hypnosis is a natural state of mind that amplifies, expands, and magnifies our mind's natural abilities. And explaining that that phenomenon that they felt, that quick change or that eye lock or the arm catalepsy or the arm or hand raise or the amnesia or whatever the phenomenon was that they saw or experienced, came from their mind or the participant or client's mind. And so I say, first of all, let's not get rid of the magic, the wow. Let's always keep it there, but let's put a frame around it and explain it in its proper way. And it's there that they're empowered to recreate that when they understand that it didn't come from us, the hypnotists, it came from them. So if we are going to keep the magic, the wow in, and we're going to incorporate some education, we're going to teach them about their mind, our minds, and the process of change. When do we do it and with who? Do we do it with all clients? If we do, and how do we do that? So I recommend that you start with the interview. Start with your client's expectations, calibrate your client's expectations, and meet them. And so a few of the important things that you need to ask, as I'm sure you already do in your interview portion of your sessions, is what is their experience with hypnosis? Have they experienced it firsthand? Have they witnessed it? And when you understand what they've experienced and then what they expect, whether they have firsthand experience of quick and positive change or change that's slow, methodical, yet effective. And then lastly, their motivation. What's their motivation for coming for you? What's their motivation for the change? And with those three questions, you can get an idea of if they're the appropriate client to treat as kind of a student, to give them some lessons of the mind, teaching them how our mind works. And for me, the only couple of times where I perhaps wouldn't incorporate the education part as much would be is if the client has had a very positive experience of fast change, and that's what they're looking for again. That they want to get to it, they say, let's knock this out, let's get to it, let's get it done. They don't want any chit chat, they don't want any education, let's just do it. It's worked before, let's do it again. And then the other client would be somebody who doesn't seem to have an interest in understanding the process of change, that wants the magic, and that perhaps maybe wants the magic a little bit too much. They've seen it, they know somebody, they've read about it, they have the belief that hypnosis is that magic key, that quick snap of the fingers and things are going to change. And so a little bit more questioning is going to be required there, and that may end up being a client that I refund their money and I send them on their way, perhaps have them reschedule, because we want to make sure that their motivation is correct, their understanding of this process is correct, that it is a partnership, that it's a 50-50 partnership, that we're going to do our part, but they have a role in it as well. And there's another benefit of this approach of teaching them about the process of learning, of change, how it does put the responsibility on them as well. So those may be the only clients that I wouldn't incorporate it with. And then the rest of my clients, I'm going to vary. I'm going to talk about to different levels the lessons of the mind and how our mind works and how change occurs. And so let's talk a little bit more about the why. Why utilize this approach? So as I've touched on it before, it puts the power back in them. It puts the responsibility back to them. It educates them about where the change actually occurs, that we're just the facilitator, we're the tour guide in this process of change. But they're doing all the work. The change is occurring in them, and once they understand how and why this change is occurring, it facilitates it, it speeds it up, and it allows them to not only make the changes that they come to us for, but to make other changes in any other area of their life down the road. So the number one reason why I feel it's important to educate our clients on this process is that it makes hypnosis, self-hypnosis, reproducible. It's duplicatable. It allows them to use what they've learned with us for the rest of their lives. For they are suddenly the student, we are the teacher, and wonderfully we are teaching them something that they've never been taught before, probably. How to utilize that most wonderful, powerful supercomputer that is their subconscious mind. And another reason is that this process of education brings into greater awareness of what's happening in that wonderful supercomputer, that powerful subconscious mind. And with awareness comes greater control, and with greater control comes the ability to change easier, much more easily, quickly, and in any area of their life. So with education, with these lessons comes awareness, and with awareness comes greater control, and with greater control comes change. It also reminds them that they've been doing this all their life, that they're unnatural, that hypnosis isn't something that only some people can do, that hypnosis is about tapping into that resource that they've always tapped into, usually unintentionally without their awareness. But now, once they understand how their mind works, they can better understand how they are natural students, how they've always learned and grown and changed, how they've gone from being fed to feeding themselves as babies, from crawling to walking, from walking to running, from elementary to middle school to high school, how they've always been students of change. They just didn't understand the processes that were involved in the change. And so it frames what we're doing as something that is very natural, something they've always done all their life. Now they're just going to do it in a more intentional way. They're learning how to kind of play that instrument that is their subconscious mind in a way that they've never understood before. Another byproduct of this approach is that you end up energetically attracting committed students. That as you set the intention to find clients that are committed to change, that are interested not only in quick and easy, rapid change, but want a better life, the higher level, higher functioning clients. So you attract committed students, students, if you will, and clients that are committed to changing, to improving all areas of their lives, and that believe in their own ability to tap into their mind to make these changes. And these clients that are committed are eager to learn, eager to make changes. These are the clients that are willing to do the work between sessions, after sessions, the ones that are committed to the change, that understand that they have the power to make the change, and they have a part and a responsibility in this process of making change. They are the clients that share the process with others. They like to tell others about what they learned. They are the ones who also like to share with others and teach others the lessons that we've taught them about the power of their mind. They're the ones who take these learnings and apply these learnings in other areas of their lives. They're great referral sources, not only because they tell others, but because they show others the ability to make changes. And those are the best referrals, when it doesn't come about them talking about the changes that have occurred, but when others see the changes in many areas of their lives and they say, "What's going on with you?" I've had a number of clients come to me that way because my clients had made such dramatic changes that other people just saw it in them and asked them about it. Ultimately, they're the clients who understand that the responsibility for change lies within them, within their wonderful, powerful mind. And so they take that responsibility. They understand that effort plus time equals change, and they're willing to put in that effort with the lessons that we've taught them about the way their mind works. Another benefit is that you are viewed as the expert. As you give these lessons over the course of your sessions, they understand how you really are the expert, how you understand something that the majority of our world doesn't understand, and you're sharing that knowledge with them. So you're viewed as the expert. And when you're viewed as the expert, you get more business, you get more referrals. And when you're viewed as the expert, more corporate work comes your way. And framing hypnosis as a learned skill and educating your clients about the power of their mind and the process of change takes you from being a hypnotist, a hypnotherapist, and all the stigmas associated with that in the corporate world, as being a mind coach, a mind expert, a change expert. And so you can more easily get corporate work referrals from your clients. You have the ability to really, in many ways, in your own mind, see yourself as not only the wonderful, powerful person that you are in this profession as hypnotherapy or hypnosis, but a mind coach, a trainer, an instructor, an expert in the power of our mind, the processes of our mind, and the power and processes of change. Another benefit of this approach is that by explaining the way our mind works, it answers a lot of the most common questions that our clients have about us. And so one of the first things I like to do when I explain hypnosis is I have 3 S's that I think about. So the first S is that it's a state of mind. It's a natural state of mind. So I tell my clients that it is something they've always been doing. It's something that they've done throughout their life, grown, learned behaviors, habits, often unintentionally without their own desire or consent. But now we're going to do it intentionally in alignment with their desires and goals. So it's something they've always done. It's a natural state of mind, a state of mind that in this field we talk about very similar to watching a movie, that narrowed focused state of attention when we're driving, reading a book, and all clients can relate to that. So a natural state of mind. The second S is that it's a scientific state of mind. That's a scientifically measurable state of mind that, and I'll explain a little bit about the kind of 4 general brainwave activity levels from beta, alpha, theta, and delta, and how that narrowing of our focus of attention brings us to that alpha and theta level, and how, so it's not only a natural state of mind, it's a scientific state of mind, something we can measure. And the final S is that it's a skill, that it's a learned skill, that hypnosis is something they've done all their life or reached that state of focused attention, absorbed new learnings unintentionally. But it's a skill, like so many things that we do, that we can get better at, that they can get better at. And so that's what our work together is about, is teaching them how to get better at this skill, to learn and grow and change intentionally rather than just unintentionally, as they always have. It answers that question, do I have to believe in hypnosis for it to work? And if it's a natural state of mind that they've always been doing but never were aware of it, yes, of course they do not have to believe in it for it to work. And I'll touch on how commercials have programmed our minds for years, marketing has, and how their parents and teachers have unintentionally programmed their minds. So in many ways, they've been hypnotized into the habits that they've come to us for. And the work that we do is about dehypnotizing them, about doing that trance stance where we get them out of that hypnotic trance that came to them unintentionally, without their awareness, without the belief in hypnosis, and do it intentionally. So they don't have to believe in it. But coming to us, it helps. It helps to have a belief and expectation that change will occur. So not necessary, but belief can help. The other question that this answers is, can hypnosis make someone do something? Can you make me forget about someone? Can you make me stop smoking? Can you make me do better at remember this, forget that? And so when we teach them about the way our mind works, how our subconscious works, how memory works, how memory reconsolidates every time we bring it up, how change happens, then they understand that obviously we can't make someone do something, but we can help someone do what they want to do better. We can help them achieve any goal. That hypnosis, with our help or on their own, can help them do what they want to do, forget what they want to forget, reframe what they want to reframe, but that it can't make someone do something. It answers the questions, how many sessions am I going to need? And because we're framing this as something they've always done, it's a process of learning, it's a skill that can be practiced, it allows us to frame that answer as, well, it really depends. Some people find that they pick up on this change, this process quickly, and others just need a little more practice. And again, depending on the issue, the problem, the change they're looking to make, it may require some practice, some home fun, some repetition to make that change. That allows us to answer the question about, is there a guarantee? Do you guarantee this will work, that this change will happen? And of course, we know in this profession we can't guarantee anything. And by explaining that this is a partnership, a process that we both have to come halfway, and our part is teaching them and walking through them through the process of learning on a subconscious level, and their part is keeping the commitment, the desire, if need be, the practice after and between sessions. Because while change always happens in an instant, lasting change takes repetition. And so reminding them that they have a part in this answers that question that, of course, we can't guarantee change. And then it also answers the questions, am I going to need a refresher? When they understand that refresher sessions, reinforcement sessions are up to them, up to how they learn. They may decide once they've learned these lessons of the mind, how change occurs, that they love coming back to the expert, to the professor, to the teacher, to get next level, going beyond the elementary education to the master's or doctorate level education, as they see us as the expert. Or they may choose to decide that they're going to give themselves their own reinforcement, listening to perhaps audios that we've given them, or reading, or doing their own studying, or just following on the work that we did and reinforcing the changes in the ways that we did it. And so that refresher or reinforcement sessions are always up to them, depending on how they feel the change occurs in their mind and in their life. And so ultimately, for me, the best reason for us to educate our clients, to give them these lessons in the processes of the mind, in the process of change, is that we are empowering them. That these are, for whatever reason, students that have come to us as teachers. And as we share this information with them, how as we probably become the first person in their life to ever teach them how to tap into that wonderful, powerful subconscious mind that they have, that they now have the ability to become masters, if you will, masters of their mind, to make changes not only in that area that they came to us for, but for any area of their life. So how do we incorporate these lessons in our sessions? Well, I sprinkle in my pre-talk, in the what to expect and what not to expect part of my pre-talk. I begin with some lessons of the mind, the rules of the mind. And so let me take a moment just to cover what I feel are the most important ones to incorporate throughout our sessions with our clients. Imagination is more powerful than knowledge when dealing with the mind. The subconscious mind does not differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. The subconscious mind is illogical. Once a belief or idea has been accepted by the subconscious mind, it remains until it is replaced by another belief or idea. The subconscious mind knows only now. The subconscious mind is always willing to provide whatever leads to happiness and/or survival, and will provide the impetus instantly once it understands what is needed. The subconscious mind works only for your benefit and does it 24/7. The subconscious mind has the mental capacity of a 5-year-old child and runs 95% of your life. The subconscious mind is programmed and reprogrammed in 3 ways: repetition, authority figure, and trauma. The subconscious mind, like any 5-year-old, needs 4 things to thrive: love, acceptance, guidance, and discipline. You have the right, the power, and the authority to teach your subconscious mind a better way of living. Another way to share this process of sharing information about the way the mind works, perhaps you use this, is kind of the theory of the mind, explaining to them the way our mind works, conscious versus subconscious, how our conscious mind is probably 5% of the brain activity that we have in any given moment, how our subconscious is that 95%, how our conscious mind is that part of our mind where what we think and know comes from, but what we feel and believe is really what runs our lives. And Our subconscious is where that feeling and belief is, and that if we're going to make changes in our lives, to habits, to beliefs, to behaviors, to actions or reactions, we need to get to that subconscious level. Theory of the mind, whether we use a whiteboard or a PowerPoint and a computer, talking a little bit about that critical factor, if that's a way that you like to incorporate the explanation of hypnosis. So talking about the theory of the mind, the way our mind works between conscious, subconscious, and that critical factor that's bypassed in this process that we call hypnosis. Another way that I'll explain the way our mind works is to use the analogy of hypnosis and our mind being like fertile soil. And I'll use these as just kind of visual representations. That when things are going right in our lives, good things have been planted in our subconscious. But often through our lives, unintentionally, some not so good things get planted in our mind. And whether we are a 5-year-old, a 10, a 15, or a 50-year-old, our subconscious mind is still that fertile soil. And we always have the ability to go into our subconscious mind to pull out the weeds, if you will, and to plant the good stuff. And so we'll talk about gardening and how important it is to be aware of what those weeds are, pulling them out, planting the good stuff, being clear about if you don't want that in your life, what would you rather have? Identifying what that looks like, sounds like, feels like, and the emotions that are involved with the change that you want. Planting that good stuff, we need to really tap into on all different levels what that looks like for our clients. And then how, just like in gardening, you need to water, you need to fertilize, you need to make sure there's sufficient sun, there's sufficient nutrients, and that the process of practicing self-hypnosis, of listening to audios, is reinforcing those changes that we made, those seeds that we've planted in their subconscious. Depending on the client, for some clients, we'll get into that scientific part of hypnosis, and I'll explain that brainwave activity level, and I'll use this Muse EEG measure. I'll put it on their head and connect it and monitor their brainwave activity and show them how simply closing their eyes allows their brainwave level activity to drop from the beta level down to the alpha level. And how as they get more relaxed and focused and concentrate, they drop from that alpha to the theta level, and I can record it and show them exactly what happened. So using that scientific approach and explaining the way our mind works when we're relaxed and focused, our subconscious is more open and receptive to the thoughts, ideas and suggestions that I give, that they're giving themselves through the process of hypnosis or self-hypnosis. Or if it's appropriate, I'll talk about how, as they understand the way their mind works and the processes of change, how they've always learned and then grown and learned better things, it's often like learning an instrument. And that for the first time in their lives, probably, they're learning how to play this wonderful, powerful instrument that is their subconscious mind. And how for many years, that internal 5-year-old, that subconscious mind that's like a 5-year-old, has been playing that instrument, if you will, without really ever getting good lessons. It'd be like me playing this ukulele. And so finally, let's talk about the post-talk and how to incorporate these lessons and understandings in this of this process of change with our clients. So in the post-talk, I think first and most importantly, review what happened. Review a little bit about what you talked about at the beginning, about the way our mind works, about this process that they just went through. Review not only the pre-talk, but review what happened in the session. Find out what their experience was. Reviewing how it was if you incorporate an eye lock, eye catalepsy, or an arm raise, or any phenomenon that you incorporate, and how that happened and what happened in their mind, and how that's going to help them make the change, not only in that session there, but they can use that again in the future for any other changes, that they can incorporate phenomenon in their own way to get to that deeper level, to get to that subconscious mind. Reviewing any discoveries that occurred in that session, conscious awareness of discoveries, or perhaps you need to review some things, some feedback that you got from them, some alternative behaviors perhaps that their subconscious mind brought forth to replace unproductive habits or behaviors, reinforcing that it was their subconscious mind that came up with that answer, whether it was an alternative behavior, whether it was an answer that they came to you seeking, reinforcing in that post-talk how their wonderful, powerful subconscious mind has their survival, their comfort, their happiness in mind, their best intentions, and how through the session you came up with some new discoveries, they came up with some discoveries. And so in the post-talk, reviewing those and reinforcing those. Also in my post-talk, I will give my clients resources. We'll talk about what they learned, what they experienced, what occurred, and I'll give them resources. I'll give them resources like my Mind Minutes book, which has the lessons of the mind, which reinforces what just happened in the session. We'll go over in this book what they need to do for homework. I'll give them other resources, like I've got DVDs, Find Relief Now DVD, I've got a Crush Craving DVD. I'll give these as DVDs or as links. I'll tell them that when they get home to check their inbox, that they'll have links with some of the processes, the self-help, self-care techniques that we've gone over in the session. So in the post-talk, not only are we reinforcing what they learned, what happened, but reminding them what they need to do moving forward to continue to reinforce the changes that have already occurred. And then finally, reinforcing their decision to be here, their God-given right to make the decision to change, reminding them that it is their right, their power, their authority to change, and that they, by being here, have exercised those rights, those powers, and that authority to make the change, and reaffirm their commitment to not only why they came there, but moving forward, that they have made the change, and reminding them to commit to reinforcing that change as they walk out the door, either if that's your last session or between sessions, reinforcing the commitments that they made to practice, to repeat of this new life that they desire. And so then lastly, now I'd like to just review a little bit about office design, layout, things to incorporate in your office that will put your sessions more in alignment with this education model, with teaching your clients about the power of their mind and the process of change. So let's review a little bit the video that started this lesson and the things that I have in my office. For many client sessions, I'll use a whiteboard on which I'll list what's happening now that's not working and what they would rather have in their life. I have other printed laminated sheets with magnetic strips attached to the back, and I'll put those on the whiteboard explaining the way the mind works, parts of the mind and the functions of the mind, examples of, in this case, mindfulness. I have other sheets that I'll laminate and use, show them how the vagus nerve works through their body. If they're in for weight loss, I'll share information about the types of foods, again, how our brain works, the fight, flight, or freeze response in our brain and our body, the different examples of the brainwave activity levels, and how those alpha and theta levels affect our ability to accept suggestion and to change our subconscious beliefs. The financial advantage of framing smoking as an addiction, how our body changes when we quit. Handouts for them to take home to support their change, posters in my office, and then some great books for you or your clients are A Couple by Melissa Tiers and Kelly Woods. And Dr. Joe Dispenza has some great books as well. I also have a Buddha board in my office. I'll have clients take the paintbrush using the water in the reservoir and write on the board those things they want to release, those things they want to disappear, those habits, thoughts, feelings that they want to erase from their mind and their life. And eventually that which is written on the Buddha board evaporates and disappears. A great visual example of the process and power of change all around us. I have crayons and markers for my child clients. And I use these squishy animal balls, if you will, for different processes, bilateral stimulation. I use that little noodle for a number of mindfulness processes as well. So let's review, summarize everything we've talked about here today. And so ultimately, why incorporate education into your sessions? Why teach your clients about the power of their mind, the way their mind works, and the power and processes of change? So the benefits to your clients are that it's reproducible, it's duplicatable, that they can create the changes that they desire in any area of their life after their work with us. It creates lasting change, permanent change, because you're teaching them the way change occurs, how it can occur in an instant, but how practicing and going through their own self-hypnosis, how recommitting daily or hourly or whatever the changes that they're looking for reinforces this change and allows it to be more lasting and more permanent. And ultimately, the benefit for your clients is that the time with you is life-changing, that they, for whatever reason, became that student and you became the teacher. You taught them something that probably no one ever had taught them before. That's how to tap into that unlimited resource that is their subconscious mind, how to change it when they desire, in the ways that they desire. And then the benefits for us as hypnotherapists, for you as a hypnotist, hypnotherapist, coach, or change worker, is that it helps your business. You get greater results, your clients get greater results, you're viewed as the expert, you get those committed clients, you get referrals as those results occur and as you're viewed as the expert. And in addition to private session referrals, you get corporate work referral because you are more than that hypnotist, that hypnotherapist that people are afraid of or that they don't want to publicize. You're the educator, you're the brain trainer, you're the mind coach, you're the expert in the processes of change, the emotional intelligence expert, the expert in changing how not only we think but how we feel. And so you are now stepping forward as that teacher. And so by incorporating this approach, by teaching your clients how their mind works, how the process of change occurs, you become that teacher. Teacher for that student who has appeared. So as you incorporate this approach, as you incorporate education, lessons of the mind, as you teach your students how to change beyond the time that they spend with you, you have become that teacher for this student whom for whatever reason has come to you, and you've stepped forward, and you in many ways have the duty and responsibility to share what you know about this wonderful, powerful instrument that is our subconscious mind. And you then are teaching them, giving them the gift of knowledge that among all the teachers that have come through their lives, their parents, their teachers in school, coaches, friends, parents, all the people that have taught them through their life, you will most likely be the first person that's taught them, in many ways, the most valuable lesson that they can learn. And that's that they have the ability deep in their mind to create the life that they want, to make the changes that they want. And with the education that you give them about the way our mind works, about this process of change, you're giving them the gift of hope, of a wonderful life in every area of their life. So go use your knowledge, your expertise, your resources, and change. Change each client, each student, change each person one at a time, and ultimately playing your part in changing the world to be a better place. And so thanks for watching. Stay tuned for a few bonuses at the end of this video. Bonuses for watching this video, for being an attendee of this 2018 Virtual Hypnosis Convention. Thanks.